Sir, in the whole world, Bhutan is the first country which has adopted a happiness index, gross happiness index. So in
Yes.
that, they also consider the health of the environment, I guess. So should India also adopt such kind of index?
Definitely, Aure. The development is having the many parameters
Mm.
that we can call economic development. Economic development of any country is having many components. We generally see the GDP, gross domestic
Domestic
product.
product. Mm.
Much of the materials we are producing. So this is a very mechanical kind of the development. But in this, public health should be accounted, environment health should be accounted,
Mm.
and sanitation should be accounted. So many others, inclusive development, even different communities, disparities. How can we remove the disparities? Those are all should be accounted. If we are not accounting to that one, definitely a development is not a development. Fortunately, one of the country first brought the gross happiness index.
Mm.
Ultimately, the development is that how happy we are at the end of the day.
Mm.
We are with the riches we are happy way, or with the happily we are living. Suppose we have the crores and crores of the rupees riches in our banks. Our children are getting the diabetes at the age of the 30, 40.
Mm.
And we cannot breathe in the cities. And you wanted to escape from the Friday or Saturday from the cities. These are a kind of the problems for the society. These all problems are having the one solution,
Mm.
that is natural way of the living. Natural way of the living means at least closer to the nature. Sustainable development. The agriculture systems, if you can see these days, they are the like each agriculture plot is like a garbage of the chemicals, agrochemicals.
True, sir.
Liters of the agrochemicals they put the agriculture.
Mm.
They to the our water system, their groundwater. We are drinking them. Our children are drinking them. Our women are drinking them. Women bodies are a qualitative hormonal balance. These
Mm.
agrochemicals entering to their bodies, they are having so much of the natural cycles. We can't breathe happily,
Mm.
and breathing problems are coming. So many public healths, agriculture systems are poisoning the environment. The traffic systems are our developmental systems are causing the pollutions.
Mm.
These should be reworked. And so many other countries like Western countries like Sweden, Norway, they have already coming up with the energy neutral technologies,
Mm.
pollution free. Those kind of the technologies we need to adopt. We should not simply run through the productivity cycles and these many agrochemicals. If we are putting this much of the product is coming, ultimately we are eating chemicals. Now we don't know how much chemicals we are eating daily, how much chemicals we are breathing daily. So these very real issues we are facing these days.
True, sir. True. So because of these chemicals, it is the bioaccumulation of chemicals is happening. So we are facing a lot of health issues in the long run also. So very true, sir. Sir, and how strictly are the forest laws implemented, sir?
Yeah. This is a very interesting question. Actually, it depends upon the officer also and his understanding. Forest laws are not only forest laws. So generally, laws are interpreted in different way
Mm.
by the because of the knowledge of the person and because of the surrounding situation,
Mm.
socio-economic situation, political situation. Because of these many situations will affect the practice of the law. Suppose a Forest Conservation Act is there. So if these many pressures or these many issues are acting,
Mm.
so definitely one or the other way, the law will be overlooked, diluted. So
Manipulated.
that's why it depends upon the officer also, how committed he is, how fearless he is,
Mhm.
how he thinks, how he understand the law. So that is very important. But as a whole, whatever whatever the laws are there in India, forest laws, they are enough to protect our natural resources. But in practice, different variations, in different states, different districts, again different officer after officer. So many other things are there. So many variations. In my belief, the strictest possible way of the interpretation of the law is very, very important. One philosophy is there. It is a precautionary principle.
Okay.
When you are dealing with any issue which is very important, suppose natural resources like forests, water, rivers, or any other social or any other important issue, very, very important issue, where the knowledge is not sure, not settled, where the law is not explicitly said you should do that, you should do that. So these issues, when it comes to the precautionary principle, you should adopt very strict, very, very cautious manner. Suppose in a forest area, if any law is ambiguous, we have to interpret that law for the sake of the protection only, not for the way. That is the precautionary principle. That should be done. The precautionary principle should come as a thumb rule. It's like a normal practice. The precautionary principle of the forestry, every forest officer should practice. Because Supreme Court judgment in Godavarman very categorically, clearly, explicitly said that forests in India is indiscriminately murdered. They have been fragmented. They have been looted. So much of the loss has been already caused. So for protecting of these natural resources, there is no other way. There is no other way except we should protect these existing, whatever the day, this day, D-Day, we should protect entirety, irrespective of the ownership. If any area is thickly wooded, any area is the forest area, any area is the reserve forest area, any area even not reserved, if it is a thickly wooded and very ecologically important, it is a forest. So all the forest conservation laws will apply to those areas. It is the heart and soul of the forestry in India now. Godavarman Tirumala judgment 1996. After that judgment, indiscriminate fragmentation, utilization of the forests, those all issues have been stopped. At least in theory.
Okay.
And stop in practice. Again, the practice is there. Some kind of the variations of the, some kind of the mischiefs are coming here and there. But those things taken care very iron-handedly by the Supreme Court. So we should understand the entire forestry and the future of forestry in the lines of the Godavarman Tirumala judgment 1996. Yes.
Sir, and how are youngsters responding to the conservation? And do you think that youngsters have any idea about conservation, or they just come make it a picnic spot, trekking spot, something like that?
Youngsters really are very important for conservation. One thing is that they have enormous energy. I am fortunate of working with the youngsters and volunteers. The kind of volunteerism they offer to the forestry and other issues, like last 6 years or so, I have conducted many programs with the youngsters, volunteers. They have enormous energy, they have the good understanding, but sometimes they don't know what to do exactly, but they wanted to save the forests. Youngsters of the country, they have petitioning by the excesses of the governments or the excess of the officers. they are petitioning, they are objecting, they are protesting, and many programs. We have many plastic free drives,
Mm,
cleaning up the rivers, cleaning up the roads,
mm,
plantation drives, snare combing, and so many other issues. I have involved the volunteers, and they are very, very, very important. And they are very important. While doing this, we can catch them very young,
mm,
and we can inculcate a kind of the conservation in their mind,
mm,
and they will become a kind of the minority. Now they will become a majority.
mm,
So slowly, 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 a kind of the mass conservationism should come. Then only why a kind of this complacency towards the conservation at the political or the executive or the some other level means these the conservation bent of the people are minority.
mm.
So if they are become majority,
Majority. Mm,
definitely their voices will be heard by all the classes, political class, executive class, or whatever the class,
mm,
and they will listen. That's why catching them and training them a kind of the conservation education in radical way is very, very important throughout the country. Unfortunately, we are not having any kind of the conservation oriented political party, at least major political party we are not having.
mm,
But we are having the Germany, America, or Britain, Greens parties. They are majority. Australia,
mm,
they are also have a sizable political influence. That is very, very important.
mm,
So youngsters are very, very important for the conservation. There should be a radical way of the training them in India, because that ignorance is used everywhere,
mm,
because people they don't know what to conserve, what should be the developmental path.
mm,
Ignorance will be used by the some other sector for the political gain or some other gain, sacrificing the natural resources, compromising or sacrificing of the community or national goal should not be sacrificed for the narrow political gains,
mm,
because natural resources from these basis only we have to develop. There is no other way. Suppose in this recent pandemic, how much of the money we are spending
mm.
because of the COVID. This COVID, one of the reason, UNEP, United Nation Environmental
Program.
Program,
Mm,
they said that climate change is the one of the reason for these outbreaks, disease
mm,
outbreaks. That means when you are harming the environment or climate, definitely you will go back to the negative development only.
true,
Why
sir.
why we should go to the negative development? Instead of this one, we have the positive development of sustainable development.
Mm,
If you are protecting the environment, there will not be climate change. There will not be pandemics of these kinds.
mm,
So we should allow the natural forces, natural cycles should operate always. We think that we have mastered. Man is the master of
mm,
the everything.
mm,
Man can master the environment. We are nothing. We can't even defeat the small organism. So that's why we can't master. We have to live with the. We have to adjust. We have to live with the nature. Unless if this is not our path of the development, definitely these kind of the pandemics will come and people will die. Society will again repair, and again it will bring back. And at one point of the time, there is a possibility of there is a every possibility of the very, very survival of the human beings.
mm.
Small pandemic, we can't even respond to this pandemic. But if at all any bigger pandemic comes because of the climate change or other things, definitely endangering the interests of the human beings.
Uh, True, sir. Sir, and this during this COVID crisis, like the economy has fallen to a very low level now, sir. Like, do you think the government? Yes, obviously the government will try to bring up the economy. So in that process, will there be any effect on forest? Like they will try to boost up the economy.
For boosting up of the economy, directly there will not be any effect on the forest. But if at all governments, if they learn something, or policymakers, if they learn from something from this pandemic,
Pandemic.
definitely they should try to consolidate the forests or the ecosystems, rivers, everything they should protect. Then only automatically our foundation will be very strong. Some countries still worse than the India, because their economy is not based on the not very strong agro ecosystems or the forestry ecosystems.
Mm-hmm.
They are facing very strong pandemic. This pandemic is having variations to different countries, different level.
Yes, sir.
The people who are very close to the nature,
Mm.
the countries very close to the nature, they the countries they have not degraded their forests and other urban landscapes or any of the landscapes. They are easily recovering, and they have not affected.
Mm.
So this is one of the opportunity for the all the policymakers throughout the world, working very close to the nature. Alternate mental models, they are very important in need of the hour. Right.
Sir, can you tell us how important is leadership and conflict resolution? The role of leadership in conflict resolution.
Yeah, leadership is always important. A leader, he will always solve the problems at any critical situation.
Mm.
The path of the leadership qualities are that he will approach the problem scientifically.
Mm.
Because if problem is something, if he's identified it as the something else, he cannot bring the solution.
True.
That's why a good leader is always approach the problem in true sense or in real manner. You try to understand the what is the problem first. You will try to bring the what are the possible solutions.
Mm.
He knows what is the best possible solution out of the alternate solutions. He knows how to execute the best solution in best way.
Mm.
After that, he will accept the failures from the best execution. He will accept the failure in real sense. He will take up the all the stakeholders along with them.
Mm.
Unless he is taking the stakeholders all along, that cannot be a true
Leadership.
solution.
Mm.
So in that way, a leadership is very important. Leadership, a leader always solve a problem, whatever the problem comes. Unless he is having the heart of the seeing the problem in scientific way. But some managers will be there.
Mm.
They throw the problems to somewhere, or he wanted to escape from the problem. But leader is not, he wanted to take responsibility. Leader will never ever sacrifice his seat or responsibility from
Mm.
the problem. But some managers, they will escape because he is not having the solution. He fears about the problem. Whatever the problem comes, he said that this is my problem. I have the capacity to solve. I will take all the persons along with me.
Mm.
I know the best possible solution. I know the best possible execution. Even any shortcomings comes, I will accept. I will try to improve myself. A leader always takes the different inputs. He will understand, he will approach the problem. He will try to get the problem more and more scientific way, more competent way. In that way, he plays with the problems, a leader. So he always enjoy with the problems. So without problem, there is no need of the leadership. Only small managers are sufficient.
Mm.
So problems will be there. Problems should be there. Problem solution should always be there. That is where always leader will be there.
True, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very nicely said, sir. And you have told so much. You have given us so much knowledge, in-depth knowledge. Actually, like you have told about your hard work, hard situations you faced, how you have overcome all the economic difficulties. How in that difficulty also you have tried to maintain that energy level. How you have inspired yourself. How you have finally qualified the exam and done so much of work. And you told how sustainable development is so important for us today. Like development and sustainability, it should be a part of the process of the country. So that thing you're told, and you have also explained how the role, the importance of the youngsters in conservation process. And you have given so many examples of the countries who have already conserved the nature, who are doing sustainably. So thank you very much, sir. Sir, and one more thing, what message do you actually want to give to the people through our channel, sir? Any message you want to give to our people?
Uh, I am very selfish because since I am forest officer,
Okay.
uh, people are very important for the society. A learned, a informed citizen is always very important. Every citizen, every person should be informed, and every person should take the responsibility. Every person should act as a custodian of the constitution.
Mm.
A injustice to one area will definitely harm the society. Either the social level injustice, either the cultural level injustice, or the conservation level injustice. Injustice in the sense inconsistency. Suppose a citizen is having the role of the very informed about the conservation. What are the forests? What are the wildlife? Why we should have this? Why these natural resources are very important? These are all there in our fundamental duties.
Mm.
We should think that we should not harm the forest. We should not encroach the forest. We should not encourage the persons who are encroaching. We should not encourage any of the negative developmental activities, so that every society, in this manner, every person is realized and know about their importance. That's what ultimately the learning process should be happening at all the levels. So your channel very important in this process, and I believe this is the first of its kind. Very unique way. You are bringing all important issues to the fore, and you wanted to bring the all the issues scientific manner. You wanted to bring the issues to the forefront. You wanted to publish. You wanted to see that people should read this, people should know this, and people should learn from this. And even some issues people should dialogue, any criticism, discussion, dialogue, everything should start. So in that process, your channel is working very hardly and unique manner. I congratulate your channel for bringing so many important issues. I follow all the discussions which are coming up in your channel. They are very informative.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Like, it is because of the support of people like you, sir, we are able to do this. So you have brought out so much of knowledge to the fore. I hope that the youngsters are convinced, and it goes into their head about all this, whatever the issues you have told us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.